So, I am back with some new cars for you. Today, the one I got is a Hyundai Tucson 2017. So, with prices rising up almost everywhere in the world, and with new cars being less and less available quickly, most of people are starting to look more in the used car market. And in order to help with uh, inspecting a car when you're looking at it, I made a chart. So there's some simple steps that you're gonna follow in order to walk around the car and investigate the actual condition. Here we're gonna start with the exterior condition. So at least to have a clean car. In this case, it's dirty, but we're gonna go around it anyway. So this is very basic. You go around and you look for scratches. You look for irregularities between the panels and the doors. In this case, everything looks aligned. There's a small ding over here. But most importantly, everything looks as it came out from factory. Windshield not cracked, looking good. Panoramic sunroof well aligned, no problem there. This one comes with the keyless, so you can right away test that it works. Don't forget to look at the tires. In this case, they're new, almost new, and they don't look cracked anywhere. The mag wheels looks good as well. So make sure all four tires match and that all the wheels look good. Interestingly, with mag wheels, we can easily look at the disc brakes. In this case, they also look fairly new, and the pads as well, so they have been changed recently. That's very good. You can look at the ones in the back. In this case, there's also disc brakes, and they also look fairly recent. These cars also come with an anti-theft wheel nut, so make sure that it also comes with the key for it. In this case, it's right there. The last thing you can do to inspect the exterior condition is turn the wheels, and using your phone you can kind of like just take a sneak peek at the average condition. If there is too much rust, if there is any part that has recently been changed, you can check it out. It's a quick check, not meant to it's not meant to check the safety feature of your mechanics, but just to check the random actual state, that there is, for example, no oil leak from the axle or the caliper, and that if the seller is claiming that parts has been changed, at least you can look them up and see if they're clean or rusted. Clean means that they actually have been changed. Rusted usually means that it has been there for a long time and that it was not recently changed. In our case, everything looks good, so I'm gonna go ahead and mark the exterior as checked. Next, we have the engine condition. For that test, open the hood. And listen for the engine. One of the most common problem with the Tucson is a knocking engine or ticking engine noise. So listen for it carefully. In this case, although with the audio it could sound like there is something weird, the engine sounds very smooth and normal. And while you're actually listening for the engine, look around, check if there's any missing bolts, if everything aligns correctly, and if there's anything that looks weird. In this case, everything looks original to me. You can quickly check under the engine while it's running to make sure that there's nothing leaking on the floor. Simply a quick check. You can also check that there is nothing. It's not greasy. If it is greasy, it means that it is periodically leaking a little bit of oil, and it's usually not good. In this case, it was clean. You can look in the back as well. Since it's a 4x4, you have the differential over there that could also leak oil. In this case, everything is dry, and the exhaust sounds good. No leak there. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark the engine as checked. Next, we have the interior condition. Always start with the doors. Look at the panels, look at the seats, if there's any that are torn. In this case, everything looks good. Look at the steering wheel, looks good. Horn works. You can check the rear view camera is working as well. That's good. Don't forget to check the wipers. They're good, and the one in the back as well. So that's good. Try and open all the windows. Make sure that all the doors work, as well as the panoramic sunroof, which is working perfectly. Oh, by the way, one thing I noticed while trying to close the panoramic sunroof is that it was very slow, and it looks to me like the rails need to be graced on this one. Now, since it's summer all around, you can easily check if the AC is working, and that's very important. So turn it on and check if it's cold. This car also comes with an automated rear trunk, so make sure it works. You can quickly look around over here. The spare is there, looks clean, doesn't look like it has been rear-ended. No crash in the back. Then try and close it. Works as well, perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and check as the interior condition done. Next, test drive. So don't be shy to take your time. I really do suggest to test the car in city. You will get to test the brake perfectly, and after that take it on a highway and check the stability. Don't forget to use it in reverse as well as in forward, because sometimes you only test it in drive, and it could happen that the transmission doesn't go reverse. So test it, take your time, make sure you reach the normal operating temperature in order to check that the car is not overheating. In my case, the car drives perfectly, so I'm gonna go ahead and check the test drive as done. Next is the mileage. So you've been around the car, you've tested the drive of the car. Now you should have a fairly a good idea about the mileage. In this case, we have 190,000, which looks alright to me. I don't believe it has been tampered with. Now, Don't forget to look if there is any lights. Oops, if there is any lights on. In this case, I only have this triangle with the exclamation mark. Usually when you have an exclamation mark, it doesn't mean anything directly. You have to go ahead and in the system and check. It's only a warning telling you that there is some problems, so go ahead and find the problems. In this case, we have an BSD system check, so it's the BSD blind spot I don't know, blind spot system. So you see in the mirror here, you have the lights that shows you if there's anything in the blind spot. So it's saying that there is a problem with the system, and maybe something else. Service in. So it's time to take the car to service, probably change oil and check things. So this is what the car is saying. Now turn off the car, turn the engine off, but then turn it back on, but don't turn the engine on. Only press once without turning the engine on. You wanna check the lights. You can do it again if they turn off. You wanna make sure that all the lights are here, like the check engine, the battery, the oil. They can easily be turned off behind the dashboard. They can break the LED lights for everyone if they wanna hide them from you. So make sure that they're here. ABS, traction control, everything looks there. So in this case, nothing to be scared of. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that the mileage has been checked. Next we have the VIN ID check. Now you want to make sure you're not buying a stolen car that has been cloned with another serial number. So make sure you check the VIN. In this case, there is one number that is missing, but I do not believe that. I believe that this sticker is the original one. It's hard to remove. So you can also compare that number with the one over here. So we found out that the missing number was 6. All the numbers look. I mean, they don't look like there has been any tampering with the serial number. In this case, under the passenger seat, you have a third place where you can look up the VIN number and make sure that the number over there match with all the other numbers. In this case, we do have a genuine car that has not been stolen. Last thing you can check if you have a keyless is, since it's very easy to program a new key, most stolen cars will not have the security key cut, since usually they don't have the machine to cut them and it takes time. But it's very common with stolen cars to have a keyless entry without the security key, in case there's no more battery in the car and you have to use the normal cut key. So if the keyless key comes without the metal key, it's a good indication that the car could be stolen. Not necessarily stolen. In this case, the car has not been stolen. Now I definitely suggest, if you're comfortable with the car, that's the first step. Second step is to take it to an official mechanic that can lift it up and make sure that the car has not been into any accident, from checking the bottom of the car, and that I can actually also check the safety of the car, since you're not a mechanic officially. And just take an appointment, make it easy for the seller, give him a time and place, ideally somewhere close from the seller's place, so he doesn't have to go very far. Don't forget that you can always go on Google and try and see what are the most common issues of the car you're about to look at. So here we have shifting transmission issues, AC blowing warm, both things that are easy to check on the quick test drive you're doing, and by testing the AC. Shakes excessively at idle, easy to check. Engine failure, poor gas mileage. That's kind of hard to check. You can ask the owner about it, but usually they don't. They're not willing to tell you things that are going to affect the sale. So I don't trust too much what they're gonna say. You really have to trust what you can test. So I really do hope that my video was helpful, and well, good luck with your purchase.